start our meeting. Welcome to the Bloomington Rotary Club's weekly celebration of service for May 4th, 2021. I'm your current president for 8 more weeks, as I found out this morning. Ashley Wesley, thank you for being here. Natalie, please show the flag for 15 seconds of respectful silence. Please remain on mute and take this time to personally reflect. Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome Connie Shikalis, who will be offering our reflection today.
Thank you, President Ashley, and happy Mother's Day month to everyone. And just a note of caution, don't ever ask a performer, writer to do a reflection. It's, wait, what? I've got 2 minutes to talk about anything I want? So actually, I could talk to you and give you more information than you ever wanted to know about my mother figures, my mother, who I adored, my sister, who I don't adore anymore, and my 2 grandmothers, who I adored. But the one mother figure that I never got to know is my mother-in-law, Gus's mother. She was born about the same time as my mom, 1914 and 1912. But in vastly different circumstances and worlds. Just to me, it seems so remarkable. My mother-in-law, Mirianthe Savas Shakalis, was born in Lefkosia, which we call Nicosia, Cyprus, which is actually, I did not know this, it's actually part of Asia. Lefkosia Nicosia is the only divided capital in the whole world now. It's divided by what they call the Green Line. And she grew up during the era when Britain ruled Cyprus. So I believe she had dual citizenship, but I have been censored here by her son. So I've asked him, please don't tell me I'm wrong in front of everybody, because I probably will get things wrong. But she was the eldest of 11 children. My mother was an only child. I mean, these 2 women who probably were very much alike, but in such different circumstances. So my mother-in-law, Mirianthe, the oldest of 11 children, never left home in Cyprus. She stayed to help her mother raise these siblings, these 10 siblings. Her dad had died. She was, back then they still did arranged marriages. So she was supposed to marry this man, but apparently he didn't want to get married. So she married his brother, Gus's dad, and they ended up, loving each other. They stayed married until he died. Unfortunately, it was young, at age 60, right after he had retired. But I know so little about her because she died just months before I met Gus. So I never met her. Gus is gonna censor me, but the only things I really know are that she drank a room temperature can of beer every day.
English style.
English style. She was a fabulous gardener. She was a wonderful seamstress. In fact, she made her own wonderful wedding dress and then sent it back to Cyprus so her sister could wear it. She made something that I'm going to show you in just a moment that Gus wore when he was a baby. And if you would like, plus the fact that this is what gets me. I mean, my mother, we've been here for centuries, my family. His mom came, she didn't know the language, she didn't know the culture. Everything to her was brand new, and she survived, and she lived until her 80s. I think she was 86 when she died. She survived, she made it. And if anybody would like to read, this is an interesting book. This man who's a truck driver, he's a church member of Gus's church in New York. He's not a writer, he's a truck driver, but he wrote a wonderful book about the Turkish invasion of Cyprus in 1974. It's awful, really, but I mean, it's a good book, but it's an awful story. It's called Escaping Cyprus, and the man's name is Gus. There's a surprise. Constantine, Gus Constantine's Escaping Cyprus 1 and 2, written in a truck driver's style, telling this fabulous story. And now, may I have my visual aid? I want to show you Gus's fabulous, gorgeous mother. Can you see, she's really such an exotic beauty. That is she. That's Gus's dad, who looks just like Gus. this is baby Gus in this sailor suit that his mother made. I mean, can you imagine? He's so cute. And here's his adorable sister. They were raised almost like twins because they were just about a year apart. So anyhow, happy Mother's Day month to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Connie. That was delightful. Now we will welcome a few of our guests today. Owen Johnson, would you like to introduce your guest?
Yes, I would be happy to do. This is Connie's boss and Bob Salzberg's successor, the new editor of the Herald Times. She's been on the job for 8 days and 12 hours and 12 minutes. Jill Bond. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm not technically Connie's boss. she helps me.
Welcome, Jill. We're so glad to have you. Suzanne Owen is joining us today. Welcome, Suzanne. And we have many other guests that are joining us for our scholarship program today, and they will be introduced with each of their recipients during their speech. So we'll save you your introductions for a few minutes if you don't mind. And are there any other guests that I'm missing that are not here as a part of the list with the recipients? Matt Stitzinger's father's here. Glenn, welcome. We're so glad to have you joining us today.
Key, Wisconsin.
My sister's
Rotary.
looking over my shoulder.
Oh, yay. Welcome.
Thank you.
So good. So
I
glad to
like
have
your
you.
club. I've visited several times.
Well, we're so glad you're here with us today. We hope you'll join us again.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks to our producers, Natalie Blaze, Michael Shermis, Sally Gaskell, and Aaron Davis. And our roundabout reporter for this week is Bob Salzberg. Thank you so much. We have a few birthdays to celebrate. Jeff Baldwin today, Judy Schroeder tomorrow, May 5th, Joy Harder, May 6th, and Don Colglazer, May 9th. Happy birthday. We have one special anniversary today. Natalie Blaze has been our fearless organizer and glue that keeps us together for 3 years this week. Thank you, Natalie, for everything you do. I actually do not know what I would do without you. So thank you so much for being here. 3 years flew by, but it also feels like you've been around forever. A few announcements before we get to my favorite day of the year, the scholarship presentation. I call it Rotary Christmas. Keith Klein, late Bloomington Rotarian Keith Klein was remembered with the dedication of the spring semester of this year at Ivy Tech Bloomington. An honorary associate degree will be bestowed upon him at Ivy Tech Bloomington's virtual commencement ceremony, May 15th. The campus also established a scholarship in his name, the Keith Klein Memorial Endowed Scholarship, which is fully endowed with funding from friends and colleagues. The first award will be made to an Ivy Tech student in the 21-22 academic year. And the inaugural Ivy Bloomington Faculty Advisory Council Legacy Award has been presented to him as well. The Bloomington FAC established the award to recognize faculty who made extraordinary contributions to the Bloomington campus for a prolonged period. The Ivy Tech campus has dedicated a classroom in his name and a tree in his honor. Other Bloomington Rotarians that are affiliated with Ivy Tech, Susie Graham, Joyce Poling, and Tim Jessen, we all celebrate and remember the legacy of Keith Klein. Global scholar Kaz Fukuda from Japan informed us that he's accepted a publication offer for his first academic article titled "A Fourth Model of Constitutional Review, De facto Executive Supremacy," is co-authored with Professor Adam Liff from the Hamilton Lugar School of Global and International Studies here at IU, and it examines the role of an executive branch, namely Japan's Cabinet Legislation Bureau, in constitutional review. Congrats to Kaz for that major accomplishment and part of the Global Scholar Program. And then I have a piece of sad news. Vivian Bridges, wife of late Rotarian Randy Bridges, is very ill with spinal meningitis. And her daughter Heidi has been updating us on her condition over Facebook. We'll keep you posted on any new developments. But the May 22nd celebration of life for Randy has been postponed until further notice. If you'd like to send a message to Vivian, we can get that to them, and we can provide contact information in the roundabout as well. All right, moving away from the sad news, does anyone have any happy dollars to share with the club? Guests are welcome to share. This is a time where we offer notes of congratulations and celebration, and any money donated goes to the Teachers Warehouse.
I have a happy one to suggest, 10 happy dollars, because I'm going to miss the meeting next week. But the reason for that is I'm going to be in South Carolina meeting my youngest grandson and
Yay.
seeing my daughter, my first grandson, and my son-in-law for the first time in a year and a half. So happy $10 for that.
Wonderful, Dave.
My oldest, this is John Vanderzee, my oldest granddaughter, who was taken in as a teenager by my daughter, Jennifer, born in Costa Rica, has become a U.S. citizen. And so she has taken the name of my daughter and son-in-law. She is Antonella Singleton. And she is now a U.S. citizen. And I'd like to donate 10 happy dollars on her behalf.
Congratulations. It's wonderful news.
Well, everybody talking about grandchildren, so let me throw mine in. I am delighted to hear that my granddaughter, by the way, she is 16, and those denial, they ought to learn that she did caught the COVID virus, got sick. Luckily, she was not admitted to the hospital, but she recovered. She is away from home in a class ventures in mountain of Colorado. So she is back to class, and they are heading to Utah for one of their adventure. And for that news, I give $10 for Happy Dollar Day.
So good to hear, Raj.
Okay.
Charlotte?
Yeah, I will give 10 happy dollars for the visit of my sister and her friend. It's the first time I've seen any relatives for a year and a half. So this is a happy day.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to quickly jump in and mention that this week is a very exciting week for the Bloomington Early Music Festival. We are going to be running this year's festival once again online, which means all of you can just jump on. I'm going to put the URL in the chat and watch everything for free from your home and put it up in your own TV and sit back and watch some absolutely amazing music from all parts of the world in historical style. So starting this coming Sunday, we've got performances at 8 o'clock Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we break for Wednesday and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So inviting all of you to join us.
Are you sending a program?
And absolutely, we'll be sending a program to you on email, Charlotte, and I'm going to be putting in $20 in celebration of the festival.
Yay.
I could watch that in Wisconsin.
You get it. Okay.
I've got something. I'm going to give $5 because I saw a documentary last night that absolutely threw me into this most amazing, happy place. It's called Kiss the Ground, and it's about regenerative farming and about how we can just rethink the way we farm and completely change our carbon footprint. And it made me so excited. If you haven't seen it, it's called Kiss the Ground, and it's really wonderful.
Thank you, Sandy. Hal, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I have 10 happy dollars in celebration of the 1715 reinvention of the modern umbrella, which we need on these rainy days. We can thank the French for that. The umbrella actually goes back about 4,000 years. It can be found in early images and writings in China, some other countries. And I think today is a good day to be thankful for umbrellas. So $10 goes to the Happy Dollar Fund.
Thank you, Hal.
It's Connie and Gus. I have happy dollars. Gus has unhappy dollars because we just got another puppy.
Congratulations or condolences. We offer both.
Oh,
All right, last call. Anyone else with a happy dollar to share?
And let me just quickly say, I neglected to say and to thank Connie for a fantastic article in the Herald Times this last Sunday. Thank you for your wonderful writing and your support of the arts and your inspiration to us all.
well, thank you, Alan, for the connections and the fabulous music.
All right. Wonderful sharing of happy dollars. I appreciate all of you sharing your celebrations with us. And now, without further ado, Matt Stitzinger, would you introduce our scholarship recipients today?
Thank you, Ashley. It has been my pleasure to chair the scholarship committee this year. Before I introduce each of our scholarship recipients, I want to take a few moments to thank our scholarship committee members this year: Byron Bangert, John Barreda, Marty Donnelly, Hank Heichema, Hank Walter, and Charlotte Zitlow. It was really enjoyable to serve with each of you, and we had a great deal of fun together. Thank you again for your service. I would also like to thank President Ashley for her help in preparing me for this meeting and with working with me on awarding our scholarships this year. Finally, I would like to thank the Bloomington Rotary Foundation and members of our club who generously donated to help make these scholarships possible. Glenda Murray shared with me last year that the Bloomington Rotary Club began awarding scholarships in 1967. There were 3 recipients in our inaugural class, and they each received a $150 scholarship. Since that time, our club has continued to award scholarships to deserving area high school students. This year, we have 4 recipients who will each receive a $1,500 scholarship from our club. I will introduce each of our recipients in alphabetical order, starting with Ethan Cantrell. Ethan is a senior at Bloomington High School North. During his time at North, Ethan served as co-captain of the swim team and swam on the team all 4 years. Ethan also participated in Cougar Leaders, Student Athletic Board, and the National Honor Society. In the community, Ethan served as president of North's chapter of Build On, a nonprofit organization that raises money to build schools in developing countries in order to end the cycle of poverty, illiteracy, and low expectations through education. This fall, Ethan will attend Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Georgia, and study biomedical engineering. Ethan is joined today by his father, Dean, and the assistant principal of Bloomington High School North, Dr. Corey Irwin. It is my pleasure to introduce Ethan Cantrell to you. Ethan?
Hello, thank you for the introduction. I'm currently on my assistant principal's account because I just got out of my AP Calc BC exam, so just a forewarning. But thank you again for the award and for the exposure to another nonprofit organization. I appreciate that a lot, especially which I would develop into more later on, how I want to get into nonprofit work later in my life. So like Matt said, during my high school career, I played soccer, which I've been playing since I was really, really young. And I was the co-captain this past year for my senior season. And I've done 3 years on varsity, which has been an absolutely amazing time that has taught me a lot of things about dedication and hard work. And then same thing goes for swimming, except I didn't do it my whole life. I've just been doing it during high school. So I've spent 4 years swimming at Bloomington High School North and 3 of those years on varsity. And I was a co-captain again for swimming this year as well. And that has been a very different experience. The inclusivity is a lot stronger, and that's really helped build a foundation of like brotherhood within that community. And especially over this past couple of years where we haven't really had a pool, and then we lost one of our teammates and we lost our coach, it really brought us together and made our team really, really unified. And then other things that I've done, I'm an Eagle Scout. So I've done Scouts since I was really, really young, Cub Scouts and into Boy Scouts. I built a Gaga ball pit for Bloomington, or for Benford Elementary School. It's on Roger Street. So Gaga ball, I don't know if anybody knows what Gaga ball is, but it's pretty much like this little pin, this like octagon, and kids will like use their hands to hit a ball at other kids' legs. So it's pretty much like dodgeball, but waist down. And then I was the Philmont crew leader, which I went to Philmont back in 2019, and that was amazing. Even though it was after the forest fires out there, it was still beautiful and a very, very important experience to me with dealing with leadership and stuff like that. Then I did Build On for 4 years at Bloomington High School North, 2 of which I was the president. I never got to go on Trek, unfortunately, but I was planning on if there was no COVID. But since COVID happened, I wasn't able to, so that was disappointing. But the time that I spent leading Build On has really developed leadership skills within me, and trying to organize like the Color Fun Run or bake sales and working those, and reaching out to community organizations for money, like grant money pretty much, or donations, that's a better word. And just like food trucks and stuff like that, which was going to happen this past year for the Color Fun Run, has really developed a way for me to communicate with in a more official and in an official way to people that I need to converse with. But yeah, and then I've done SAB for 3 years, and I've helped fundraise for the inclusivity banner for North, which has to do with awareness about disabilities, mental disabilities. And then I've mentored youth, 3rd graders. I've taught them the Richer principles, which is respect, integrity, caring, harmony, excellence, and responsibility, which is trying to organize them to be more well-rounded individuals in the community, to try to start our youth and a strong moral foundation so that they can develop and be good community members. I've also tutored middle schoolers with just coursework through SAB. And then another organization I'm a part of is Cougar Leaders, which I've spent 3 years on, 2 of which was on the council for it, where I would mentor freshmen the first year when I was working one-on-one with students to try to help them understand how the school works and how to stay organized and on top of things. And then the last 2 years I've spent organizing events like the orientations and the lessons that we teach the students so that they can sort of learn certain things about the school and certain things about society. So yeah, and then I'm also a part of NHS, which I've been 3 years an active member, doing service work that stretches from working high school events to volunteering at the community orchard, which I did this past weekend, where I scooped fish emulsion, which I can tell you is not very like good smelling. It doesn't smell good, I can tell you that. It's just a bunch of ground up fish and water. So yeah, and then this past summer, I participated in Future Voters B-Town, where I was a founding member. And I joined because I believe that everyone's voice matters and it should be heard no matter what they believe in. And if you're not registered to vote, it's a lot harder to get your voice heard. So this organization reached out to graduating seniors to try to get them to register to vote and vote when the voting day came. And then that's my high school experience pretty much. And then in college, I'm going to Georgia Tech, like Matt said, where I'll be studying biomedical engineering. And specifically what I'm interested about biomedical engineering would be neural prostheses, that interaction with the brain and relating it like a brain to machine interface that intrigues me a lot. And then some clubs that I'm interested in. I might do club soccer depending on the schedule and how much time it would take. And then I'm also considering Engineers Without Borders to continue my work in volunteering and nonprofit work. And then I would like to do some lab work, but we'll see if I have time for that. And then beyond college, I want to continue either to a master's or possibly a PhD, depending on what I need for future work. But I would like to end up working in a nonprofit organization, preferably using my degree. If not, I would be working to support developing countries either through education or water supply, both of which are needed around the world. So yeah.
Ethan, thank you and congratulations. Our next scholarship recipient is Annalisa Crane. Annalisa is a senior at Edgewood High School. During her time at Edgewood, Annalisa competed on the cross country and track teams. She was a 4-time cross country sectional champion, a 3-time regional cross country champion, a 2-time semi-state champion, and was runner-up at the 2019 state cross country meet. Annalisa was named Herald Times Runner of the Year for cross country 4 straight years from 2017 to 2020. She also ran track, where she was twice named Herald Times Runner of the Year in 2018 and 2019. In the community, Annalisa is highly involved in 4-H, where she has given horse riding lessons and taught over 400 kids and parents at the 2019 Indiana State Fair about the importance of hand washing and how zoonotic diseases are transmitted. This fall, Annalisa will attend the University of Illinois, where she will be a student athlete studying animal sciences. Annalisa is joined today by her parents, Damon and Lindy Crane, Dirk Ackerman, principal of Edgewood High School, and Callie Schlemmer, counselor at Edgewood High School. It is my pleasure to introduce Annalisa Crane to you. Annalisa?
Hello. I would just like to start by saying thank you again for everybody for putting this scholarship together. I know it means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to all the other recipients as well. So like Matt said, my name is Annalisa Crane. I'm a student athlete at Edgewood High School, where I'm a member of the cross country and track teams. And in addition to being a 2-sport athlete, I'm also an active member of the Edgewood Key Club, National Honor Society, German Honor Society, and I have a 4.18 GPA currently. Outside of school, I'm a member of 5 4-H clubs in Monroe County. I'm the president of the Rabbit Club, and this is my 2nd year in that position. And then in the Country Sunshine Club, I've acted as the vice president for the last 2 years. In addition to these leadership positions, I'm an active member in the Junior Leaders Club, Horse and Pony Club, and Swine Club. As you can tell from my leadership roles, I enjoy actively participating in my clubs. 4-H has so many great community service opportunities for all age levels. So even when I joined 4-H in 3rd grade, all the way up until this point, I've been doing projects. In the beginning, I was just actively participating in projects that other people set up. But now that I'm one of the older members and this is my 10th year in 4-H, I am now the one putting these activities together and helping these younger kids get involved in the community as well. So there's a lot of the community service projects that we do are fairly simple, such as writing cards to nursing homes, but they do make a big difference in people's lives. And I'm always putting together community service projects or participating in projects set up by my peers. Some of the projects that I put together in the past couple years are craft kits for Pantry 279, cards for the nursing home and soldiers, toiletry kits for the Wheeler mission. Not only do I enjoy helping others, but I also enjoy spending time with like-minded people who are willing to work hard and share my dedication to the community. So the adult leaders in these 4-H clubs have helped me learn what it's like to be a leader, and then I'm able to use those leadership skills to serve the community and pass on these life skills to the younger generations. A couple of the other community service things that I've done outside of 4-H was this summer, my family and I sewed a lot of masks to donate. We spent several hours and I think we donated about 40 masks, fabric masks that we sewed. So I thought that was a good way to help the community in the middle of the pandemic. And with the Edgewood Key Club, we adopted a road this fall out by the Northwest YMCA. So 4 times a year, we have to go out there and clean it and just make sure that there's not a lot of trash seen by the side of the road. And I think that was a really great project for us to add to our club this year because it's something that will be there for years to come. So it wasn't just a one-time kind of project. It's something that will continue to benefit the community for years. And then another project that we did this year with the Edgewood Key Club was we built a little library for people in need. They can come and grab books from it. And we were also going to set up a small food pantry inside of it with some canned foods or non-perishable foods that people can come and take if they need them. And also even for the books, even if you just want to swap a book, take a book and leave a book. And we're going to put that on the Edgewood's campus. So again, this is another project that will be around for years and continue to serve the community for years to come, even after the current seniors who put it together leave. And then this fall, I will be attending the University of Illinois to study animal sciences. And I've been accepted into the College of Agricultural, Consumer, and Environmental Sciences James Scholar Honors Program. And then after I finish my undergraduate degree, I plan to also study for my DVM. I plan to become a large animal veterinarian because I want to help fill the shortages that has occurred in the job field. There's a lot of people who do become vets, but they like to work with the smaller animals. I'm looking forward to working with the large animals and hoping to fill that gap because there's definitely a lot of large animals and very few vets to serve them. And then I also hope to open my own large animal practice at some point during my career. And I'll be able to use these leadership skills that I've gained through school and 4-H to develop a strong business to help these people and animals. And once I become a licensed veterinarian, I hope I will have even more opportunities to give back because I'll be able to help people's pets, which in return benefits the owner. So thank you again for the scholarship.
Thank you, Annalisa. Our next scholarship recipient is Maddie Shaw. Maddie is a senior at Bloomington High School North. At North, Maddie served as president of the Young Democrats and served as a member of the Model UN team. Maddie was also a decorated figure skater, winning 2 gold medals and competing in the regional and state competitions. This past summer, Maddie participated in the IU Russian Summer Intensive program. Maddie is also a Cougar leader and a regional and state medalist in Science Olympiad. In the community, Maddie volunteered as an ice skating instructor for 4 years with Bloomington Parks and Rec and interned in 2019 for the IU Political and Civic Engagement Center. Maddie also interned in 2020 for the Woody Myers for Governor of Indiana campaign and served as a volunteer for various city council candidates here in Bloomington. This fall, Maddie will attend Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. At Dartmouth, Maddie plans to pursue fluency in Russian, as well as study Russian history and politics, international relations, and political science. Maddie is joined today by her parents, Janet Carminati and Sydney Shaw, and Jen Campanella, one of her references for this scholarship. It is my pleasure to introduce Maddie Shaw to you. Maddie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maddie Shaw. I'm a senior at Bloomington North, and I'd just like to say thank you for granting me this scholarship. It means a lot to me, and thank you. With that, I'd love to introduce myself. So I tend to think of myself as a pretty rounded person. I love music and the arts. I've been playing piano and cello for pretty much as long as I can remember. And I'm also a pretty active person. I go to the gym every week with my friend, and I love doing yoga. And with that, I am a competitive figure skater. Figure skating has been a large part of my life for the past decade almost, and I've been competing around the Midwest for about the last 6 years of my life. It's something I'm really passionate about, and I've learned a lot about commitment and determination and hard work through my time in figure skating. And I've also been able to give back to the community for the past few years by volunteering at our local ice rink and teaching skating to the kids who I hope will turn out to be the future generation of skaters here in Bloomington. And so I guess it's not much of a surprise, but I also have a fairly big academic side to me. I've been participating in my school's Model UN team for the last 4 years, and have actually served as president and on the executive board for the last 3. And Model UN has really sparked my passion for international relations and politics. And then last year, I was able to write an essay for the American Foreign Service Association. And I was able to study Russian and Ukrainian relations and kind of develop my interest in Eastern Europe. And I was actually able to write another essay this year on that same topic. So I'm really interested in that kind of field. Last year at IU, I was lucky enough to be able to see Marie Ivanovich, who was the former ambassador to Ukraine, speak at IU, and Madeleine Albright this year. And those opportunities were super formative in my passions for international relations and politics. And so with that, this past summer, I was lucky enough to be able to study Russian through the IU Summer Language Workshop. It was a pretty intensive program. I think we studied Russian for about 6 hours a day. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was a super important and influential experience. And with that, I've been taking classes this year on human rights and international law, Cold War history, Russian foreign relations with Eastern Europe, and I've also continued learning Russian language. And so aside from that kind of narrow field of international relations and Russian, I'm also really passionate about local politics. I've been participating in my school's Young Democrats Club for the last 4 years and have served as co-president with my friend Solveig for the last 2. And although we haven't been as active this year due to COVID, we've hosted a few city council panels where we even invited the mayor to come and talk about local issues and youth involvement in politics. And with that, I've been volunteering for city council candidates for the last 2 years, ever since middle school. I've canvassed neighborhoods, handed out flyers and literature, and talked to voters about politicians and their platforms and policies. And I was lucky enough this past summer to actually intern for a candidate for the governor of Indiana. His name was Dr. Woody Myers, and I thought that he had a fantastic platform. And that opportunity really taught me about how campaigns work, from anything from finance to publicity to appealing to voters. And so that was a really fantastic opportunity that I'm really grateful for. Last year, I was also able to intern for the IU Political and Civic Engagement Center, where we learned about voter engagement, voter registration, and I was actually able to help IU celebrate the centennial of women's suffrage. So that was a fantastic opportunity. And then with that, as Ethan mentioned, actually, I helped Future Voters Bloomington do a small voter registration drive at my school this past year before the 2020 election. So that was a great opportunity. And then with that, I also volunteered for the League of Women Voters and helped them document all of the public officials in Monroe County. And I learned that there are quite a few. And so with that, I'm happy to say that I will be studying international relations and Russian and possibly political science at Dartmouth College in the fall. And I also plan to skate on their figure skating team. I chose Dartmouth because of its really renowned government program and department, and also their emphasis on study abroad. I'm planning to study abroad in London and Moscow, and possibly interning in DC for a human rights organization or a political candidate or politician. I'm also hoping to participate in Dartmouth's War and Peace Fellowship Program, and hopefully do research with Dartmouth's Political Violence Field Lab, which focuses on humanitarian assistance and terrorism and peacekeeping and that kind of realm of academics, and also compete with Dartmouth's Model UN team. I'm also thinking about participating in a living learning community that focuses on global issues from climate change to human rights to international conflict. And then also I've always wanted to learn a variety of languages. So I'm really excited to hopefully dabble in Spanish or Chinese or Arabic or things like that, as well as learning Russian. And in all honesty, I'm not really much of an outdoorsy person. So Dartmouth's focus on nature and the outdoors might be a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm really excited to step out of my comfort zone overall in the next few years. And so after college, I plan to attend graduate school, possibly in DC for its political opportunities. I really would love to work for a human rights NGO or a political candidate or a politician in DC. And then hoping to join a federal agency like the FBI or NSA. We'll see where life takes me, I'm not really sure, but my biggest dream is to work for the US Foreign Service, kind of like Marie Ivanovich and Madeleine Albright. They've really inspired me to pursue that path in diplomacy. And so with that, I'd like to say thank you to my parents, to all my coaches and mentors, including Jen Campanella, who's here today and who's the director of the skating school in Bloomington. And thank you to all my impactful teachers and mentors over the last few years. And thank you again to the Bloomington Rotary Club for considering me and giving me this scholarship. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. Our final scholarship recipient is Moya Stringer. Moya is a senior at Bloomington High School South. At South, Moya served as co-president of Habitat for Humanity, service co-chair of the National Honor Society, and president of the Panther Activity Council. She also played on the tennis team from 2018 to 2020, as well as the volleyball team for 2 years. In the community, Moya is the founder of Project Muse, which brings live classical music to our local community. Moya also serves as the service and outreach coordinator for the Monroe County Youth Council and leader of the Green Sprouts Project, which provides environmental education to elementary school students. This fall, Moya will attend Colby College in Waterville, Maine, where she plans to study biology and chemistry. Moya is joined today by her parents, Ann Sophie and David Stringer. It is my pleasure to welcome Moya Stringer. Moya.
Hi, everyone. I'm Moya, and I just wanted to start out by saying I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have this scholarship, and I just really wanted to thank my parents and my teachers who've helped me through this whole process of just applying for scholarships and applying for college, and it's been a really crazy year, but I'm just really grateful for them. And I just wanted to kind of talk about why I initially thought this would be a good scholarship for me. This scholarship initially stood out as one that focused on community service, and service has always been a huge part of my life. I'm president of Habitat for Humanity at South, and it's just been a really amazing experience, 4 years. And probably the most impactful thing I've done was be able to build alongside future homeowners and see that they were going to be living in a house that I helped build. I'm also the president of Panther Activity Council, which is a group of school ambassadors at South. And our main thing that we do is help freshmen really acclimate to South. And we also organize food drives and groups to run in Hoosiers Outrun Cancer during a normal year. I'm also the outreach coordinator for students advocating for a greener environment, SAGE at South. And what we do is really just try to educate people about the environment, about what's going well, what maybe isn't. And one of the things I did with that club was kind of revamp Green Sprouts, which was an idea that we had a while ago, but we go to local elementary schools and try to help generally 4th or 5th graders to learn a little bit more about the environment and maybe what they can do to have an impact on sustainability in the environment. I'm also the service co-chair of NHS, and this year has been really crazy for NHS, especially with service. But with my co-chair partner, Eunice, we've been able to come up with various service opportunities, such as thank you cards, kind of appreciation for the teachers and staff at South who've been working so hard all year with everything that's going on to provide us with an education. Another thing that we did was to support local businesses in the community. We offered service hours to go out and support businesses. And all of these were projects that people could do whether they were able to attend school due to COVID or not. And yeah, so another thing I've done is Project Muse, which is a project that I started end of sophomore year with a few people from my orchestra. And I kind of realized that there are some people in the community that don't really have a chance to listen to live classical music very often. And classical music has been a huge part of my life. I've been playing piano since I was 6, I think, and violin since I was in 6th grade. And so I decided to start this group, and we've gone to Beltrace Retirement Home, Redbud Retirement Home. We've played at the Shalom Center during an annual gala to raise money for the homeless in Bloomington. And we were scheduled to play at the library before COVID happened, and we were unable to do that. So service has really just been a huge part of my life. I really love giving back to the community, and that's kind of what drew me to the scholarship to begin with. And as I'm moving from high school to college, I'm really excited to continue my service in an entirely new environment. So I will be attending Colby College in Maine, and I plan to specialize in biology and chemistry. But this academic goal follows from a really transformative experience that I underwent this year. My growing interest in science at the end of junior year led me to apply for a lab internship at Indiana University, and I managed to get a position in the Kehoe lab studying molecular biology. I think I'll probably always be amazed by the science that goes on. It's really incredible when you are actually there. But I'm so happy that I've been able to work alongside actual lab members to design experiments on cyanobacteria, which is a type of marine phytoplankton, and trying to understand this bacteria's incredible light harvesting abilities. And so this lab experience has really profoundly changed my outlook on study, research, and the possibilities for college. At university, again, I hope to further the knowledge I've gained through a foundation in STEM. And while I am interested in a possible pre-med track, I really opened my eyes to the possibility of a life in science and research because of this internship. I've developed some ideas already in regards to microorganisms and their potential to really revolutionize aspects of human life. So the bacteria we study in the lab, cyanobacteria, provides about 40% of the world's oxygen, which is more than all the rainforests combined. It's a really huge percentage. And that really made me wonder if their incredible photosynthetic power and conversion to oxygen could be used for human benefit and harnessed at the scale of individuals, interior spaces, and even the wider environment. This might seem really idealistic, but it could definitely be possible if we understand more about the proteins that enable cyanobacteria to adapt to different light and produce the maximum amount of oxygen. So I see this line of work as an opportunity to unravel some of the biological mysteries of the world we live in. And it's really exciting for me to be able to work with DNA in a way that was made possible by 2 women in science who just won the 2020 Nobel Prize for chemistry using CRISPR. And I really strongly believe that there's a role for scientific innovation in making the world a better and more sustainable home for humanity. And I really look forward to starting university next year. Thank you again to everyone who helped me this past year. And thanks again for the scholarship.
Thank you, Moya. Congratulations again to Ethan, Annalisa, Maddie, and Moya on earning the Bloomington Rotary Club Scholarship for 2021. Let's all give our recipients a round of applause. Congratulations again, guys. I believe we have time for some questions from members of our club, so feel free to ask any questions you like of our recipients.
A question for Maddie. Czym was zainteresowała Rosja?
Did you say what am I interested in Russia?
How did you get interested in Russia?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not too great at Russian yet, but I got
Nope.
interested primarily because honestly, figure skating has a lot to do with Russia. There's a really big figure skating culture in Russia, and I just found that really interesting. And then second, I was able to represent Russia in a Model UN competition my sophomore year, and I found Russian foreign policy both complex and intriguing. And so that kind of sparked my interest and drove me to take Russian last year. So yeah, thank you for your question.
Spasiba.
Any other questions? Connie.
I'm speechless. I am feeling inferior second by second. My question to all of you is, I don't even know what my question is. You are so impressive and so achievement oriented. Do you ever have fun or goof off? Please say yes.
Anyone want to answer that?
I know personally, I'm sure as with everyone else, I'm very busy all of the time, but I do have a lot of fun with the things I do, especially on the cross country and track team. That's kind of where I can kind of goof off and have a lot of fun, but at the same time, kind of come back and do all these 4-H activities as well.
I have a quick question for Annalisa. So I've been following your career in the Herald Times for all these years you've been in high school, and I know you had a pretty serious injury. How did that affect, affect you and how you look at, your future and participating in sports?
Yeah, that was definitely my first big injury that I had had. But I was lucky the way I tend to be very look ahead at what's gonna happen next and like the positives of a situation, I guess. So even though I was out for the rest of the season, my sister was still able to go to state. So I was just kind of looking ahead at those positives, and also one of the I guess you could kind of call it a positive, was I did have a little bit more time on my hands that I could use for other things. It was nice to have a little bit of that break and just looking at the positives in the situation. You can't always dwell on the past. I found that it's best to just kind of move on and do what you can to continue to improve upon yourself as a person, and of course improve upon everyone else around you as well.
Any other questions?
This is not a question either, but I echo Connie's remarks. What wonderful people these are, and how amazingly positive they are. And well, I love working on this committee and you can see why, because we see all these young people just looking forward to a better world and helping to make it. What a good deal. Lucky for us to meet them. Yep. That should cheer us all up.
Absolutely, Charlotte.
Ashley, I have just a quick question. Public education seems to be under attack these days, and yet, somehow each of you just took off like a rocket at North, at South, at Edgewood. Could each of you just in a word or two give me an adjective or two that describes your high school experience?
Good question, Jim.
I guess we'd start with Ethan. Ethan, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I think an adjective or just a word that would probably describe my high school experience would either be either just busy or dedicated. I don't know, one of those two, just staying constantly moving has been something that I've noticed that I've done over the past 4 years. And to answer the question previously about having fun, the good thing about it is everything that I'm doing, I really enjoy. So whether it be build on, like organizing all these meetings and organizing events and stuff, I still really enjoy that work, or playing soccer, or learning about like physics or Calc BC, stuff like that. It intrigues me, so that's where I find my fun. So yeah.
Thank you, Ethan. Annalisa?
Yeah, honestly, I would have to agree with Ethan on that one. I would definitely describe it as very busy and a lot of involvement. You certainly have to look in the right places to get involved in those types of things. Like I'm involved in Key Club and NHS and German Honor Society, along with there's a lot of other clubs that the school also offers. You just kind of have to find the things that you're interested in, and it's very easy to make yourself a busy person throughout high school for sure.
Thank you, Annalisa. Maddie Shaw?
Hello, thank you for your question. First, I would echo what Ethan said about just finding passion and fun in the activities that you're doing. So I'd say passion is a big word to describe my high school experience. But I would also say balance is probably the most prominent thing that came to my mind. Just making sure that along with all the community involvement and athletic commitments and commitments to the arts that we described, it's also important to balance those with your own mental health and well-being. And I think that applies to everyone. So that's what I would say.
Thank you, Maddie. And Moya Springer, the South Panther there.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Maddie for sure. The word that came to my mind was broad. I think that I've had to take so many different classes at South, which for me is actually a really good thing. I'm interested in so much. And really all the teachers, obviously you have some that you work better with and some that you might not work as well with, but really all of my teachers have had a positive impact on me. And I just think that having such a broad education and like learning all these different things has really like helped me and also inspired me to go to a liberal arts college where it's a similar kind of situation. So I definitely think just having a variety of classes to take has really been a positive experience for me.
Thank you so much. You all are awesome. Back to you, President Ashley.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to close our program now, but if you have a few minutes to stay after, there might be a few additional questions if you have the time. We appreciate your presentations today, and congratulations again. In honor of your presentations, we will be making a donation to Monroe County United Ministries. And Sally, would you tell us about next week's program?
Yes, next week, the education theme continues. We're going to be hearing from Scott Elliott, who's an education writer and senior director at Chalkbeat, which is a national education reporting site. He's going to be talking about keeping tabs on K-12 education.
Thanks so much. Natalie, will you show our four-way test so that we can recite that together to close our meeting? Of the things we think, say, or do. First,
is it the
Is
truth?
it the truth?
Second,
is it fair or concerned?
Third, will it
goodwill,
Will
better
better
friendship.
friendships.
Fourth,
Fourth,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?
Thank you.